Welcome back to EU4, the tutorial, and we're now on the advanced tutorial for the interface, map mode and trade. Well, let's get it done, I guess. Well, that looks interesting. This chapter will go through interface and explain the interface and explain what the interface does. Okay, good. Click next to continue. Ducats are one of the primary resources and are used to pay for everything from unit recruitment to building and building construction. Click next to continue. Manpower is an important resource that puts a limit on how many soldiers your nation can have. The manpower cap represents 10 years of manpower. Recruiting a regiment will cost you 1,000 manpower per regiment. Reinforcing armies that have taken casualties in war will also drain your manpower. Go run down then. Okay. Stability represents how stable your nation is. Stability is connected to unrest, tax income, global trade power, and more. Stability can be increased in the Stability and Expansion tab and cost administrative power. Stability can be lost though. Random events, breaking truces, changing state religion, or having your ruler die in combat. We need to avoid that one then, huh? Corruption represents the level of corruption in your nation. Corruption is connected to unrest, spy network, construction, power costs, and more. Corruption increases over time due to unbalanced research. We haven't come across research whatsoever. Overtaxation and lack of religious unity. It can be decreased by high stability and being ahead of time in administrative or diplomatic technology. Okay. Well, do you want to talk to us about research and technology? That'd be a nice one. Prestige is gained by winning battles, wars, or through random events. Prestige gives your troops increased moral legitimacy and better relations over time. This is a lot of reading. Only Republicans are affected by Republican tradition and is primarily reduced national unrest. Republican tradition is is lost by the same ruler for several terms and is gained slowly every year. Is lost by keeping the same ruler for several. Oh, why would you be affected by that? 1 sec. Anyway, Sorry about that. Republican tradition, so keeping the same ruler for several years is bad. Having your ruler die in a battle is also bad. It's one of them balancing parts, isn't it? I guess there's a workaround. Anyway, several terms and is gained slowly every year. Low Republican tradition is associated with an increased stability cost. Only monarchies are affected by legitimacy and it represents how legitimate the rule for your monarchy is considered. Legitimacy affects unrest, religion, tolerance, and diplomatic relations. Power projection is a value that reflects how good your nation is at flexing its muscles by selecting rivals and by taking aggressive action against them. Your power projection can increase. Having power projection can give you bonuses to your country, privateering winnings, war embargoing, and support rebels are examples of actions that increase your power projection. Okay. Envoys are characters you use to perform different tasks. Merchants are used to collect income from trade and steer trade. Colonists are used to found new colonies. Colonists are used to found new colonies. Diplomats are used to perform diplomatic actions. Missionaries are used to convert the religion of a province. Envoys will return them when they have finished performing their tasks. You have resources which are combined are called monarch points. These are administrative power, diplomatic power, and military power. You gain monarch points each month, and the amount depends on the ruler and your administrative skill or advisor's skill. Well, okay. Too few rivals, province unrest. We have no advisors, so that means that the base +6 +9 +6. Okay. Alerts notify you about information that you might want to do something about. Left-clicking on an alert will take you to where you can do things about it, while right-clicking the alert will hide it. Red alerts are urgent, yellow alerts are important, and green alerts are non-urgent. The diplomatic offers from other countries also appear here. Okay. The production interface is designed to help you make production more efficient, which is this, and easy to use. You can learn more about it in the production chapter in the basic tutorial, which we went through, where you can, build your troops by clicking on it and selecting the territories you want. Same with shipyards. Choose what kind of ship you want, and then select it, and then select the green. And make a call. Send mercenaries. Call. Increase. Okay, local unrest -10. And currently this is unrest then, yeah. So that's 3, 2. Okay. So we got unrest in those particular areas. Anyway, next. The Holy Roman screen allows you to see which nations in the Holy Roman Empire, who the electors are, and also view the member states. Okay. If your state religion is Catholic, you will have access to the mechanics related to the papacy. The papacy view gives you information about papal influence and what you can spend it on. Every time the Pope dies, a new one must be chosen from the active cardinals. You may invest papal influence to increase the chance of you being the next courier controller. Okay. The outline helps you by giving you fast information about the progress and status of armies, navies, buildings, envoys, and more, which is this. So it's just telling us that all our diplomats are free, merchants are free, which ones, our armies, how many we've got, and where they are located, our fleets, we've got 13, no heavies, all 5 galleys and 8 transporters in that one, and 7 light ships in that one, and then rebel factions, which we have a lot of. Okay. Anyway, the score represents how well your nation is doing in the and is divided into 3 categories. The categories are administrative, diplomatic, and military. You can view score comparison in the ledger to see what gives you score. Map modes will change the information given to you on the world map. The next chapter will go through them in more detail. That's good to know. So this is the starting map mode, which we're kind of used to. Here's one big ass map. Right. Anyway, map modes are tools to help you better get information about the world you play in. The default map mode is the terrain map mode. The political map mode will colour all the provinces in different colours, one for each nation. The political map mode can make it easier to see borders and where a nation has provinces around the world. Like England here has some in Normandy, in Calais, Maine. Okay. The trade map mode shows which provinces belong to what trade zone. In addition, it also shows you where trade flows, and it's here you order your merchants to steer trade in a certain direction. You will learn more about that later on, basically. The Imperial Map Mode shows which provinces belong to the Holy Roman Empire. Green provinces are Imperial provinces, orange are electors, and purple is the Emperor. Yeah, okay. You may notice that one of your provinces, Berisia, belongs to the Empire. While you as Venice do not. Okay, well that's not good. But I'm glad we're not playing as these then. But the religious man mode shows you the spread of religion around the world. This will make it easier to see which provinces are not of your state religion and where you might find friends or foes. Well, Catholic is like all of Europe, virtually. Well, actually is all of Europe, with religious provinces, Orthodox, okay. Orthodox, and Catholic. Orthodox is a huge area as well. Next, the diplomatic map mode gives you the information about where your cores are, who your allies are, and where your enemies are. Be right back. that you do not own. Sorry about that. Where were we? We may as well just read it from the beginning. The diplomatic map mode gives you information about where your cores are, who your allies are, and where your enemies are. The green stripes show you your core provinces that you do not own. Clicking on the provinces belonging to other nations will update the diplomatic map mode with the nation's information. So we have a claim to this one basically, which then updates for that. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Next, there are many more map modes to help you get information about what is going on in the game. By clicking on the additional map mode button, you have a look. Okay. So we can go Imperial, which we already know about anyway, but unrest. Good to know. This concludes the chapter. The next chapter will go through trade in more detail. Let's hope that this goes well. Trade is an important part of Europa, or EU4. The world is divided up in additional trade nodes, with each having a different number of provinces in them. Provinces produce different trade goods, and the trade value of those goods is transported to their respective trade nodes. Trade nodes are visible on the map as either floating buoys or cities, and they have light blue stripes connecting each other. So if we go to the trade, does it show? No, it doesn't, does it? Just that one. Okay. Click on Valencia. A good portion of the trade power is a trade node. A portion of the trade power is the trade node comes from provinces and can be imported by building trade buildings. Certain provinces are centers of trade, or they have a river estuary. Both of these give a bonus to trade power. Your capital province, Valencia, is an example of a province that is at the center of a trade. Okay, click on Valencia's button to continue. The trade value is the trade node comes from the provinces that trade there. You can either collect income from the trade value or steer the trade to the next trade node. Trade power is very important value that determines how much of the trade is in a trade node you control. The more trade you control, the more income you can collect, or the more trade value you can transport forward. Okay. Your merchants can perform two different actions in trade node. Collect from trade requires that you own a province in that trade node and will collect income from trade. The amount of trade power you have compared to your competitors determines how many ducats you gain in trade. Remember to unpause the game. Have a merchant collect from trade in the Venice trade node to continue. Okay. What? Oh. You want us to go where? Is that pointing to? I don't get that. The arrow's pointing to nothing. We broke the game already. Protect trade. Have a merchant collect from trade in the trade node. Okay. You. Mission string. Select a mission. Fly friendly ship fleets to touch the fleet. No. Select a mission. Protect trade. Oh. Okay. Collect from trade. That didn't work. Oh, you can pause the game. Does help. No? I don't get what he's trying to ask me to do. I've gone. That's what he was asking me to try and do. Okay. Anyway, the second action your merchant can perform is transfer trade power. This will transfer trade value from the trade node to another. The amount of trade power you have compared to your competitors determines how much trade value is transferred. Select Alexandria province and then click the button to go to the trade node. Guess do not forget to unpause. Yes. Okay. So Alexandria. Too far. You. So go to the trade node. Go to Alexandria trade node. You have a merchant transfer trade power to the trade manpower shows you where the different trade nodes are, which provinces belong to them, and also how trade is steered. As you see here, you are now steering trade from Alexandria to Venice. Trade can only flow in the direction the arrows are pointing. Some trade nodes are so-called end nodes, which means the trade cannot be steered away from them. Venice and Genio are two examples of end nodes. Trade power determines how much trade value is transferred from the trade node to another. Trade power directly affects how large portion of trade is in a trade node you control. Trade power comes from provinces and from light ships. You are protecting trade, and from light ships that are protecting trade. There are also ideas and a diplomatic advisor that can affect global trade power. Select your ships in the port of Venice. Okay. Done. Hello. select your ships in the port of Venice. Well, I have. Is that the ones that you want? Oh, them ones. Light ships. Now protect the trade node. Okay, you. It's that. We need that. Protect that. And go. That didn't work. We need that one. So, Christ knows why there was that showing there, right? The easiest way to increase your trade power is by building more light ships and having them protect the barcos that are protecting the trade. Increase your trade power in the trade node by 3. Okay, so we can and then we gotta build some light ships. Build 3 light ships. 73 days, 73 days, 73 days, 73 days. All of them are 73 days. There you go. Pause the game. Should leave that open so we can see how long it's going to take. Oh, 40. There we go. And so now we've got an extra 3 ships. This concludes the end of the trade chapter of the tutorial. Hopefully you have gained a better grasp of how the trade works in EU4. And then if we wanted, we can close that. Does shift click work on there? Yeah, it does. Days and hours. I want the behind you. Thank you. Thank you. Can't actually send it to. Anyway, that concludes this tutorial as well. Yeah. Right. Well, sorry about the interruptions, but hopefully you learned something from there. I did. I'll probably end up having to do these tutorials one more time just to get into my head of how it works, but I think I understand quite a bit from that. I can't say what they could have gone into better detail with because obviously I don't know. I don't know the game, but the arrow. I think it'd have been nice if you closed the box down that you needed open in order to perform a task. It should have pointed to the what you need to open to get that back up, so you know where you're going. But other than that, yeah, it was fine. At least we now know all of the buttons on the interface and what they are. So yeah. Anyway, catch you in the next one. See ya.